President Trump's travel ban is set to expire tomorrow, and the administration is hard at work on a replacement for it. The White House insists President Trump is planning to replace his original order with new travel restrictions. Officials have declined to say if the list will include, in fact, all 6 of the original countries that were banned in his executive order. But this new order is set to create restrictions that vary by country and are going to be based on cooperation with specific United States mandates. Joining me now is Kimberly Atkins, Chief Washington Reporter for the Boston Herald. Good afternoon, Kimberly.
Hi there.
So I want to get your take on this. Really, what are the new order's prospects for success? Certain features of it have leaked out over the last few days. It's been widely reported that the new list is going to include 9 countries rather than 6 countries. It's been reported that these countries are going to have their own individually tailored specifications rather than a blanket policy. Are these things, if they ultimately prove true tomorrow when this is rolled out, are these things going to increase the new ban's prospects for success? What can we really expect there?
Yeah, I think it depends on what these details are. The devil is in the details, right? I mean, as you said, there are reports that it might expand the number of countries that the bans could be permanent in some ways, that different countries may have different restrictions based on the specific thing. So it'll have to depend on exactly how far these restrictions go and what countries they apply to vis-a-vis what the terror threat is out of these countries. I mean, it's definitely going to face a challenge from the ACLU and states that have already challenged the previous travel bans, but how successful those challenges will be will depend on the details.
Well, the White House, again, if what's rolled out proves to be what is being reported, the White House has said that they're moving away from a model where they target Muslim countries, and that in fact 2+ countries included in this new ban are not Muslim majority countries. Do you think that's a concession from the administration to the legal parameters that they now face? Or do you think this is, meaning, is it a strategic move, or is this something they're doing because it's a political move to try and deflect some criticism from the president? What do you think of that?
I think it may be a little of both. I mean, I think they're definitely mindful that the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court is set to hear arguments on August 10th about the second travel ban, the challenges to that. And I think they are trying to, based on some of the other cases and some of the things that they've gotten from the Supreme Court, the signals that they've gotten from it so far, to try to thread the needle to try to make this order stick. I mean, the idea is it has to be narrowly tailored to really focus on the issue of national security that they put forward. The challengers were saying that in the previous bans, for example, the 6 countries that it covered, none of the terror attacks since 9/11, and including 9/11 on U.S. soil, have involved people who came from those countries. And so it seemed to be about something else other than national security. This document that the Department of Homeland Security prepared, this report that this new ban will be based on, will be a crucial element as the courts, all the way up to the Supreme Court, continue to vet these to see if it is, in fact, really just another version of trying to pass a Muslim ban.
So when we talk about, as you said a minute ago, the devil's in the details, right? So when we talk about the details here, the specific requirements that these countries are going to have to individually comply with, we're talking about things like reporting requirements where countries have to report known terrorists operating inside their borders to United States government officials. We're talking about things like these countries have to be on the dime to produce viable, legitimate passports. They're not easily pirated by terrorist organizations. Do you know of some other particular measures that the White House and that DHS, Department of Homeland Security, is looking at to include in this?
Yeah, we don't know yet. I mean, that's part of the issue, is that this is going to be rolled out as soon as tomorrow, and we don't know, and these countries presumably don't know for sure exactly what these requirements will be. If they are rolled out immediately, that could set up the prospect of seeing some confusion at airports that we saw a few months back when that first travel ban was rolled out. So it's really going to depend on what we know. That so far there's no official word. We all know that this president and this administration can change things at the last minute, change minds. They might still be working on it. So I think we still really need to wait to see what comes out, whether that changes, whether the Supreme Court case gets dismissed because it's based on the old travel ban, or whether the justices just give the government and the challengers more time to answer questions about whatever gets rolled out tomorrow. There's a lot of question marks up in the air today.
You bring up one of those major question marks, which is the rollout. So, Kimberly, let's hope that third time's a charm for the president.
We will see.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.